My roots, my roots, my roots. I can't forget my roots, my African roots, my Ethiopian roots. My roots keep me strong. My roots keep me holding on. My roots prevent me from getting thin, and my roots is where my life begins. My roots is my identity. My roots is what's keeping me. My roots are never dry. My root is my reason why. My roots can never be washed away. My roots is always here to stay. And my roots is not meant to be combed. And my roots tell me I found my home. My roots is where I belong. My roots identify what's wrong. My roots is my only weapon. My roots keep me holding on. My roots keep me growing without me even knowing. My roots is what's in my heart. My roots ain't no poison dart. My roots let me say what I mean, and my roots let me mean what I say. My roots keep me growing strong, and I admire what it's showing. My roots give me strength, so I'm no longer bent. My roots give me strength, so I'm no longer bent. Thank you. I want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you, 'cause I'm so grateful. So grateful.
Greetings in the precious name, Jah Rastafari, the head of the Creator. So I want to give thanks every single time. Give thanks for our ancestors. Give thanks those who come before us. Give thanks for our parents, because the reality is that if it weren't for our parents, we wouldn't be here right now. You know, so I'm going to start again, because, you know something, as I was meditating, I had like a demon look upon me, right, and saying things. Who do you think you are? Yeah. And now again, you get a little flashback of these demons just meditate over you, you know. But the vibes is too strong for them, because the sister we have inside the house here is a powerful sister. So any negative vibration, right, can't penetrate, because we are dealing with some serious vibration. We're connected to the ancestors, see, and that's what we're dealing with right about now. See, so I'm gonna play that again, because we want to make sure the energy is proper, you know, because the sister now come on and reason with us, because she depend on vibes, you know. I know I'm gonna demon enough to penetrate, but we're too strong for them.
Say thank you, thank you, thank you, 'cause I'm so grateful, oh grateful, I'm so grateful. So I want to say thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day.
Thank you for this beautiful day. Hear the music. Thank you for this day.
This healing day.
Vibration.
This healing day.
Vibration.
Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing day.
Healing day.
This healing day.
for my friends. Spirit, thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Wonderful friends. Now thank you for this day. Spirit, thank you for this day.
Feel the vibes.
Thank you for this day. Spirit, thank you
Feel
for
the vibes.
this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing
Healing day.
Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day.
Give thanks and praise to the Most High.
For this day,
Give
Spirit,
thanks.
Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. I wanna say thank you. Thank you. I wanna say thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I wanna say thank you. Say thank you. I'm so grateful. So grateful.
We have to be grateful. That's why we give thanks. Give thanks for life. Give thanks every single time. See? So inside the house, we have a beautiful queen. My sister, your sister, and she's a princess. And we're not talking about, we just use the word princess because she's actually a princess, and she will break that down. So we're talking about royalties, right? So we have status among us, as I'm speaking. See? And she'll be touching your thing about ancestors. See? And look at the whole thing about we should be cleaning our DNA, because we have untroubled, I do this word, let me start backwards, trauma. Trauma comes from our DNA, from our ancestors and so forth. See, what we haven't dealt with. And she has the tools, right? And she's been ongoing on a research, on a journey. And one of the things she'll be doing in the near future, the very near future, in fact, talking about next month or so, next 2 months, she'll be doing a series of work where we're cleaning our DNA and collecting back to our ancestors, And I'm quite fascinated by this sister here, because the more I talk with her, the more I get fascinated. Sometimes it's quite interesting, because when I first met her, the sister, in Wood Green Library, I just see her, we say hello and so forth. We never really had any kind of talking thing, she does her thing, I do my thing. And, we've had some conversations, and your thing about meditation and praying, and then I get she's doing some workshops. And then I said, let me just have a conversation. I was quite fascinated, because there's a lot of things what she talks about I don't really know about. Reiki, and I've heard the name all the time. And she started touching on thing about chakras and everything. I know a little bit about chakras, right? I know we should be connecting. See? And I said to myself, this sister's quite fascinating. See? And the more I talk to her, the more I get to understand she and Edison has a lot in common. In fact, they talk about the same name. Edison always talk about connecting with our ancestors. See? And this sister's she has a beautiful soul. The more you get to connect with her, the more you get to reason with her, she has that kind of beautiful soul, and she's so sincere, so giving, so loving, so caring. I remember I said to you, she's part of the royalties. We talk about royalty, we talk about Diana and Meghan and Prince Charles, and she passed out that's far more, but she's very humble, 100% more humble, and she's not in that glorifying and want to be worshiping that stuff there, because that's not she. She wants to help people to fulfill their true potential. One of the things is that she was very much involved in the church, very much involved in the church in terms of look at. She's very in depth when it comes to thing about Bibles and scriptures, but as she involved in the church, asking questions, they wasn't able to answer her, and she get to understand that they're false. We use the word false. That not saying that we're not trying to throw stones, but they weren't able to answer certain basic questions what she wants, and no disrespect to anybody, she had to move on because she's grown up. It's no different when a child has decided to say, well, listen, it's time for me to leave home now because I'm grown up now. It's a point. Yes, we appreciate, but I have to move on. So she's been on a spiritual journey, but I don't want to use the word spiritual journey. Be careful what words I use. Our ancestors take up on a spiritual journey because everything she does is through the ancestors, and I'm quite fascinated to reason with the sister here. And this is going to go online, and one thing we want to do, because when we know interview like this is going to be very intense, very spiritual, and we want many people to take in this interview here because it's going to be very powerful. We want to connect people all over the country, all over the world, because people need to know about this sister here. So at this point here, just leave me to say I keep my sister as the first thing.
How are you?
Give thanks, give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. So we have our princess inside the house, and she's relaxed. One of the things, if we had more resource, we should have a massive red carpet right from here right round Haringey, Tottenham, Hackney for she to walk on. You know what I mean? See, because that's how she should be respected and honored and lifted up all the time. But my sister, what I want to do, I want to just give us your journey, because one of the conversations me and you had is that coming through the church, and then you realize that the church wouldn't answer the questions, yet, and you went and you started searching and so forth. But it'd be good to just give a little background about yourself, and as a prince as well, and your family title and everything. Yeah. Go.
Thank you so much, Brother Dougie. Thank you for your wonderful introduction.
Go,
yes. Well, I am Princess Otas Akenzua, granddaughter of the King of Benin, Oba Akenzua II, Edo State, Nigeria. Yeah.
Okay.
I came to England in 1977. For me, coming to England in 1977 at the age of 12, it was like, Moses going to the wilderness. But there was a purpose.
Oh, you came
for
in
it.
age of 12. You came here. Yeah?
Yes.
Age of 12. So when you first come here, how do you adapt? Or how do you find the whole, being here?
It's a journey. It was very cold, I was warned that it's very cold in England. Many of my family traveled to England, America, so it wasn't new. We know that it's very cold, so I was expecting that. However, I came to meet with my mother.
Your mom was here, yeah?
Yeah, she was here. So, immediately I was taken to a private boarding school.
Okay.
So I was placed in a private boarding school by my mother. I feel everything was a journey because I didn't really feel at home being in those places. But my dear mother wanted to give me the best because it wasn't cheap, to be in these private boarding schools. That's how it all really started, really, for me.
Okay then. And which area did you live? Which area live? Which area did you live when you came here?
I live outside London.
Outside
It's by
London.
the seaside, Bexhill.
Bexhill.
Yeah, in
Oh,
Sussex.
okay
by the
then.
seaside, yeah.
And what was it like being there? And you made a lot of friends there and so.
No, I grew up very withdrawn.
Okay then.
You know, I didn't mix very well with people for some reason. It was just my nature to be very withdrawn. I guess I was probably grounding myself.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
But mind you, when you come from a different country,
Yeah.
like we're from Nigeria,
Yeah.
come here,
Yeah.
it's more of a cultural shock as well.
Yes, it could have been this.
Yeah, it could have been. When you think
So,
about it, because that could
yeah,
play a very
yeah.
important part of the cultural shock.
Yeah.
Okay then, and then school. You went to a boarding school, as you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then what happened when you left school and etc.
I think something in me rebelled. You know, I guess my DNA kicked in because I believe everyone is carrying something inside their DNA. And a time comes, it will explode and you have to find yourself. They call it time capsule. They explode at certain time to give you an awakening. It's an inner journey. And so I did things according to my DNA, and I just basically ran away to go and find myself.
Okay then.
From the boarding school.
From the boarding school, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
quite drastic.
All right then. But coming to the boarding school, I mean, in terms of academic, you went on done quite well there.
No, because I feel there was just something else was happening inside me. In the eyes of onlookers, it might look like I wasn't doing well, but that's because I have an inner teacher that was doing something else with me. I would say my ancestors. So looking back now, I feel I did the right thing to run away. You know, it may not look like that. Of course, my dear mother was very worried and was frightened, but when something in you kicks in, you can't explain to people. You just have to do what you believe. And I can sit here today and see that it was actually working for my good to take me to the path I needed to be. Yeah.
Okay then.
Perhaps what I needed to learn was not going to be taught in the school.
It wasn't going to be taught in the school.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's like your ancestors was working with you from them.
Yes.
From them.
Absolutely.
Absolutely
Yes.
from then. Okay. So run away from boarding school. Ancestors tell you to let go that are rubbish.
Yes.
Yep. So what happened there? You started working or
No, I just I went with the flow of nature wherever the wind took me. I had associates, friends that kind of made room for me to basically find myself, I would say now. Yeah. At that time I didn't know that was what it was. Yeah, but it definitely was.
Okay then. So in terms of where you are today, because everything's, as we said, it's just a journey to this point here.
Yes.
And me and there's some powerful conversation in terms of ancestors, in terms of DNA cleanse. Just break that down to the whole thing about and the kind of stuff you do. What do you do and stuff? Yeah.
Well, I am the CEO of Immortal Healing, angelic Reiki practitioner. We train people. We perform Reiki training. I also encourage people to develop their psychic abilities. Opening up your third eye and seeing visions, because it's your right to see visions. So this is what we do. We give Reiki healing. We perform DNA and ancestor healing meditation, which is very popular at the moment. We recently got permission by Haringey Council to facilitate this DNA and ancestor healing at the Wood Green Library every third Sunday of the month, starting in March.
Okay then. I'm still working backwards in terms of why do you think it's very important for us to have DNA cleansing and healing? Because to me and you've had some conversation, and you said to me, Dougie, that's where they start from, because our ancestors yearning for us to cleanse and connect with them. I just want to break it down. Why I think is important.
When you look in the mirror, you are looking at your ancestors. You are your ancestors. We carry them in our DNA. They are in your vibration. They are in your being. They are the voice that are trying to communicate to you. But it's very important to understand how it works, that communication. If you don't understand that communication, you can be labeled as mentally ill. When people tell me that they hear voices, I tell them to tell me more, because it's very, very important to learn to listen to those guidance. Yeah. So they are in your DNA. Every trauma, every joy, whatever it is that you've inherited it from your ancestors. So you have your chemical inheritance from your parents, like look like them, same nose or whatever. But on a deeper level, you have DNA. You're carrying all their experiences. And again, my work has opened me up on a psychic level where I now know that we also have something called reincarnation. This is not, I don't believe this is the first time you've been on earth. So we do reincarnate. So everything, every experience you've had in previous incarnation, they are also in your DNA.
Also in your DNA. Okay. Because what I want to do, I want to connect it back to the conversation me and you had about the religion. Because as you when you were talking, you say you was very much committed to the church.
Yes.
Right, as part of your journey.
Yes.
But you get to find that there's certain answers you wanted from them. They weren't able to answer that. So that's where you had to, I use the word divorce, but you had to quest to find. But give us a little bit of your experience with the church.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, of course, I had a lot of challenges in my life. Not quite sure if I was coming or going, losing my identity. I had a lot of anger because I was separated from a very young child from my father, from the royals back home. So it was like there was a lot of imbalance going on. Yeah, so it was very natural to have a lot of anger within me, but it wasn't really understood at that time by my parents. They just labeled me as rebellious. Very natural.
That's your family?
Because I was doing things that were not normal to them, but I was driven by this energy. So in 1994, I naturally went into church because I was looking for solutions to my problem. So I got born again, as you call it. And yes, I was pretty much in the church 5 days a week. I would attend the night vigils.
So you was very committed.
I was very committed. Bible lessons, Sunday services. Then eventually I progressed to become a Sunday school teacher, an intercessor. So I was very much in the church. But I didn't just practice church when I went to church. I practiced church at home. I did night vigils by myself at home, fasting. And I was very much committed in this way. And not long, maybe many years later, I started seeing visions. I started having spiritual visitations. Like ancestors were appearing to me. But everything in my being just felt safe to have them around. I wasn't scared. Something said to me, this is not demonic. But I know if I went to told my pastor, I'm seeing spirits and they're sending my ancestors, he would tell me it's demonic. So demonic. I didn't do this. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Also, just to let people know, we have our brethren, Clive inside the house. Clive is I don't want to call Clive now. I know he's a politician, right? He's a politician, right? Also, he's a man deal with enough knowledge. As a man who was talk about structure, and strategy, you know. And again, it's quite interesting. Clive, me and Clive, in reason again, we're talking about the whole thing about our ancestors, connecting with our ancestors, etc. And so it's quite interesting. Clive's in the hole, so Clive probably want to bounce in any time and ask questions or make a contribution. So Clive, just free up yourself, because you don't know introduction to this thing yet.
Yes, family. Greetings. My apologies for being a bit late, but it's traffic. Yeah, plus me leave out probably a little bit too late. Obviously I'm excited to be in the studio with my brother and my sister, touching on the subject, which is spirituality, from what I've gathered. And myself and Dougie, we've often reasoned on the fact that our spirituality determines our mentality. And you've highlighted that by saying, even though, because I am like you, I'm in the church, and there's a lot of questions that we ask, but it's not we asking it, it's our ancestors asking of us to ask these questions. That's because right. as a race, as a culture, we are spiritually led. But if we don't know what is around the corner, what to expect, then it can be a challenge for us.
Yes.
So I'm very excited the fact that you're in the studio, because there's a lot of answers that I've had, even just sitting here humbling and listening. So it is fundamental that we come to understand our spirituality, what our ancestors are saying that we need to be doing in this time, because their sacrifice has already been made. And in their sacrifice, they've instilled within our DNA
That's right.
the solutions.
That's right.
The solutions. So even today, as one of the things I'll be talking about in regards to the Goodwin Lawson thing, is solutions. But ultimately, even today, I've come to realize it's not necessarily just solutions, because we're all part of the solution. Nobody has got the solution. The solution is holistic.
That's right.
Yeah. So because the solution is holistic, we need therefore to identify from those who are coming forward with their solutions if they can be the pillars. When I say the pillars, it relates to our structure, how we structure ourselves in order to deal with the eventualities. So I'm very excited. I humble myself in your presence, and to the community out there to realize, and for you to realize, likewise myself, that our spirituality is what determines our mentality, which is our belief system. So what we believe, if we don't believe in anything, we can't move forward. So it's important that we know where we are in relation to where we're coming from, because that strengthens us. It takes away our fear, because one of the things I've learned in having been in this country now 50 years is that we've become cowards, because fear has been instilled, so we are now afraid of dying. But you and I know it's not how long we live, it's what we do in our allotted time, because that is already being predetermined. So more strength to you, the listeners out there, and more elbow to your bow, my sister.
Thank you.
Give thanks. You want to add
I want to touch on what you said. Fear has been instilled in us. This is where we come in Immortal Healing. Everything is a vibration. Fear is a vibration. Love is a vibration. Whatever you feel is a vibration. And there are methods and there are strategies that we can apply to cleanse this out of our, DNA field. You understand? So, so every problem has a solution. As long as we understand that nothing is set in stone, we have to think in terms of vibrations. Then we have a solution.
I'm feeling that. Myself.
Speak to
myself. I've been here from 1969.
Okay.
So last year I went back to Jamaica, back into my community, and I did libation. And having done so, a lot of things has been revealed. It's like my eyes has been further opened. So much so that I took an image, and then others started to show me things around, and this is just a tree. And they pointed out certain things to me, and then when I say it, it's like I say, wow. And then I sent that image to see if others were seeing what I initially even weren't seeing. All I did is I pay my respect in libation to my ancestor, to my community, and then I've come back because I'm already comforted in the knowledge that my ancestors are with me and they're always with me. I have that sense of belonging. But then when my eyes was further open and I saw these things, I said, my word, you know. And it seems like we have to be careful because oftentimes we say things and they manifest themselves. Yeah, and sometimes if you haven't got it documented or you haven't protected yourself, people will look at it and say you're a mad person, and obviously they will get you under the medication and then you're lost, you know, within the system. You know? So we have to be careful. So yeah, I'm guided, and obviously I hadn't heard the contribution so far, but in the short span of time I've been in here, yeah, I open up my ears and my mindset in order to take on board what you're saying.
Yeah. I want to touch a little on the other thing about the DNA cleansing and what take place, and just give a little flavour. How does that work?
I've been doing this DNA and ancestor clearing since 2011, and I have different experiences with different clients. Now, when they come, all we do is sit down. It's a sitting meditation. But because I'm an initiate and I'm connected, I invoke the presence of the ancestors. Of course, we can call them energies, yeah? And they are Christed being, meaning of the higher self, yeah? And everybody have that energy walking with them anyway. So when I invoke them, people learn as I pronounce the words. So the ancestors, the energies, the being that I work with, they work on your chakra system. They work on your DNA field because they know you very well. It's like the God within you.
Yes.
Knows you very well and knows what to remove vibrationally to clear you, So this is how it works. When we come in by faith, just sitting down, not really expecting anything, but just trusting that divinity will perform that which you need. And very often people leave with very, very positive experience. I can share a couple of testimonial, if that's okay. Just 2 weeks ago, a gentleman came because he was having a lot of challenges with family, relationship, money. So these are the kind of Catholics that have you come into the place like this. And we did a meditation. 2 days later, he came to the office and said to me he can see. Now, I didn't even know he had eye problem, but I know during his DNA and ancestor healing, I saw visions of his third eye. There was a lot of old energies there, and they were pulling it out. You see, so it makes sense that it might have affected his eyes. You see, so we are working when it comes to DNA and ancestor healing. We are working on the root level. Not the symptoms, because by the time people find themselves drinking or they have financial problem or relationships are breaking up, those are just the symptoms. There is a root cause.
There's a root cause.
You see,
but would that root cause come down to as one of the symptoms? Trauma.
Yes, when people are there's something called karma. We carry karma in our vibrations. Yeah. There is a teaching that I get this information from Cryon. He teaches very well about DNA and how we carry traumas from generation to generation. And he shares with us that there are drivers that drives our karmic energies, with the strongest passion. So, for instance, if in your DNA there was slavery, for instance, or if in your DNA there was murder, there was, traumatic stuff. So he said, up until now, our DNA has been driven by fear, anger, and unfinished business.
Unfinished business, yeah.
So we always, these are just traumatic energies. We don't have to be driven by those energies anymore. So that during DNA and ancestor clearing, we help to bring solutions to this fear, drama, and unfinished business. So it's like we're flushing away the old energies to bring in the new of clarity, doing things differently, not being driven by fear, but being driven by something more positive.
Yeah. Because it's quite interesting with all of this, because one of the things, as you talk about anger, probably Clive can probably share with this what I will say here, that we talk about anger, resentment, and and all that stuff there, and things was happening in the past, and relationships is a good example where she left me, and you have that kind of resentment for that person, and every time you see that person you have that kind of anger and hate and whatever, because you feel hurt and you're not able to let go, and you bring that into your other relationships and so forth, right? And one of the tools you have to do is to let go, forgive, and it's not easy saying that, but you can't just keep holding on. And sometimes people come to your life for a particular reason, to teach you something about yourself, because life's just really a journey. And sometimes the answers is just really just talking to you, but it's because you're not really connected and you have that resentment. And again, we have that kind of resentment, what internally affects you physically as well. Yeah,
because it's energy, it's vibration,
it's vibration.
And for too long we've been looking outside. We need to go in. I remember when I left the church, because it was no longer feeding me. It's like I've come to understand by the help of my ancestors that a spiritual system is like a schooling system. You have the nursery, primary school, university, college, university. So you got to know when you have graduated that level and you step out. So this is when I came out of the church. But like I say, I fast and I live a life of meditation. I do like to wake up at sunrise early in the morning, and I go to the woods and I wait for the sun to rise, because I know that the sun is Christ, and I know that the sun is my soul. That's the solar plexus. It's connected to the soul.
Right.
So I wait and I meditate. And I remember this fateful day, about 5:30 in the morning. I was very depressed, because something was missing. I didn't know what it was. I wasn't getting what I wanted in life. So I went to the woods and I waited for the sun to rise at the first hour, and I cried out to the sun. I said, if God is teaching me anything, what is it? But I never expected someone to respond. I heard a disembodied voice say, go back to nature, for ye cannot separate spirituality from nature. And it kind of made sense. So I went, how do I go back to nature? And then the voice said, you need to master the art of going within through meditation, for the kingdom of God is within you.
That's right.
I said, that's it. It's time to leave the church. I got the answer.
Yeah.
You see, I needed a concrete answer. So that now set me free. So I said to the Spirit, guide me. So ever since then, I've been following my voice. And then they were taking me to places. They took me to Bond Street, Kabbalah, where I found myself studying with the Jews. Now, at this time, I wasn't going to be a member of anything. I was just going there to find out, what have you got? You teach meditation. Okay, let me see how you do it. So from there, I began to understand the planets. I was reading their books. I invested so much. Once I understood what it meant to meditate, I left and I started practicing it at home. Doing researches on the internet. So it started off from there. And shortly after that, as I'm practicing my stuff, I was having Christ had been appear to me, even in the sun. I've seen being in the sun. Normally, you cannot look in the sun unless the ancestors want to show you something. You can look in the sun. So on one fateful day, I was going to the business lounge in Wood Green, I think around 2014, in the summer, and I saw a crested being sitting in the sun. I could feel him, I could see him, but I recognized him to be an Indian, what you would identify with an Indian,
Okay.
you know. And I'm thinking, why is he appearing to me in the sun? I am not going to leave it as that. So I went to research where is his temple, because he's appeared to me in the sun for a reason. So I went and researched his temple. I mean, he is Shirdi Baba, that's his name, in the sun, dressed in white. His temple is in Wembley. So I
Yeah,
went to
okay.
I went to Wembley on a Thursday. That was his day, according to the research. And I know not to go empty-handed, so I took some grapes with me. You know, I learned this over the years, that you do not go to the house of an elder empty-handed. Really, you can even apply that principle to visiting your grandma. You don't go empty-handed. You know, so I went there. Of course, it was a Hindu temple. I just copied what I saw, took off my shoes, and followed them in the queue. And the statue of this Christed being who appeared to me in the sun was in the middle of the aisle. So I noticed that in their church, they don't preach like they do in the church. So they just basically, they meditate, they play mantras, they give their offering, he blesses them, and then they just sit down. So I copied it. For half an hour, I went back home. But the next Thursday, I was driven. I had to go back. By the time I went there, the third Thursday, the statue spoke to me.
Yeah.
And the statue said, go and offer copper coins, a glass of water, and candle in front of your ancestors' pictures. I mean, I had my ancestors' pictures. They were just decorations. But when he said that, I knew he was saying to me, set up an altar. So I brought the pictures together, and I began to do this practice in honor of him. And an ancestor started to appear to me, and I would hear a voice saying, offer them food to eat.
Okay. Can I just ask, is that in relation to like your DNA? So have you identified that your culture within your DNA transcend not just say African, but within the Asian?
Well, I believe in reincarnation. I've seen visions of me being other people in previous incarnations. Yeah, I have seen this.
But the point I'm getting is it within, it may well be from what you've described earlier, within your DNA.
Yeah.
For the simple reason
Yeah.
that obviously we've been, we're not ourselves as we would ordinarily be. So
Yes.
we're not 100% because we've been enslaved.
Yes.
Yeah. And the enslavement has impacted on us to the extent that it's left within us anger, frustrations, and these things we need to vent. But we also need to understand it before we vent it, because if we don't understand it, then we could vent it by way of anger instead of embrace. That's the point.
We need to heal, because there's a lot of traumas that we're holding in our vibration. Now, he may have been an Indian Christed being, but I'm just so grateful that he came and pointed the direction to my ancestor, because I will never get that information in the church.
No,
but and we bless them, that's the level they're at. But I've since got to a point where I now know that God is in me and is in you. You know, there is so much we can learn from all tradition. I think for me, I limit myself when I don't open up just to see what other people are teaching there. You see, I have just to break my fears, because I had so much fear. You know, I had fear of Hindus, because when we were in the church, they told me that even reflexology was demonic. But I had a emotional heart trauma. It was reflexology that healed me. You know, pastor just told me it was the devil. You know, we were praying for 3 years. It was getting worse. But wisdom said to me, you better go and find solution to your problem, because you're in pain here. You know, I did this, you know. I'm not afraid to go anywhere, because my experience shows me that if I'm guided there, my ancestors taking me there, I am protected. There is something there for me to learn.
Yeah. And that is going to further empower you.
It does
as
empower
well
you.
as us, because obviously there are some of us that needs that direction, that guide.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we are still searching, and that is
Well,
the
well,
consequence.
the reason why we're not finding because we're searching outside. We need to go in. It's
But
time
that's
to
where-
come inside the
Yeah,
house.
but that's where, to a certain extent, they've led us astray. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because again, it's like from what you're saying, what you say is like we're accustomed to the fact that we've got 5 known senses. That's what they established. But we know that there is more than
Well,
just
well, well
those.
it's, in the Hindu tradition, in the Bhagavad Gita, it teaches that they call it 11 horsepowers.
11 horsepower.
So I realized that we have more than 5 senses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's-
But I learned that in the Hindu temple, in Krishna's temple.
Okay, because I don't think Christianity is going to teach you that.
But remember, my ancestors told me that a schooling, spiritual system is a schooling system. Like you're not going to learn algebra in a nursery. We have to understand that different levels, when you are ready to go to the next level, you will learn something higher. So I don't expect the pastor to teach me what I know now because he's still in fear.
Yeah. Well,
It's
that
going
is
to
the
take
point.
time for him to overcome that fear because they're looking in the sky
Right.
for the Christ that is within them. You will never find him.
Yeah,
It's
but again,
within
it
you.
takes us, but it again takes us back to the slavery, as to how we were indoctrinated, and that fear is still lying within us, and we're looking for the outcome or the exit.
In our DNA and ancestor clearing, we clear all those energies. You know, I have met people in one of my sessions. Sometimes I will see a vision, they got chains in their legs. And I just tell spirit to break it. Because the moment the spirit reveals, they're revealing to redeem. So I always like when they reveal things, you understand? So no matter what it is, we have to let that go and do the inner work. Remember, everything is a vibration. Once you purify the vibration, you're going to have a different experience. That's how it works.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, I'll tell you, I've only been here a short period of time, but it's given me some confidence to look more so within and to hang on, as I've been trying to do, onto my true nature, because I've come to realize that when I go home, it's a different vibration. You know, it's like when I go to the airport, I'm so excited to take off, and then when I'm coming back, I just have all of these, these images of problems.
Yeah, because they are just reoccurring. You know that expression, change the record?
Change the record, yeah.
It now resonates with me
Yeah.
because we've been playing this vibration over and over again until we find a way to cleanse it. It's going to repeat.
Yeah.
I like what you said, that change the record.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah, it's the
because
vibration,
you
yeah.
know what they told me? They taught me that you see all these parables that you hear out there, they're actually the voice of the ancestors. Even something as change the record, literally, yeah, it means just break out of the circle of, you know, the karmic circle. Just repeating. Nothing is new under the face of the earth. You've done this before. It's time to break it.
I just want to jump forward here, because and the reason why, because what comes to my mind, and as you know, myself and Clive, we've been doing a lot of work around mental health, and we're talking a lot of stuff around mental health. And you said something what really kind of shake me up a little bit here, when you said that when people are hearing voices,
Yes.
but it is voices of the ancestors.
Yeah.
Yeah, talking to them. So again, you know, we've got to think upside down, and it's a question of really see where they're coming from, because we have no knowledge of that. We see some kind of mad person, right? But encourage them to talk. You know what I mean? Because the ancestors are talking to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the downside of that is the system tells you to suppress it, so they'll
Yes,
send
that's
you
right.
to the
That's what.
doctors,
Yeah.
and then they'll get you medicated.
Well, it depends on who you're talking to.
Yeah.
You know, I pray that you don't talk to the wrong person. You see, I know, look, we've got so much fears. For instance, people have been programmed to fear spirits. So you got to overcome that fear. Because at the end of the day, the ancestors are spirit, you know. They are always around you. I know that they come to the earth plane every new moon day. they come to the earth plane. Imagine when your ancestor energy comes to the earth plane to visit you and you're not even conscious of them.
That's
It's
right.
like me coming to visit you
Yeah.
and you just blank me.
Yeah.
No food, no water,
Yeah.
you know. So you end up not getting the blessing that I came to give you.
Yeah, yeah.
So it takes time. We need to be focusing on focus our energy on things like this instead of focusing on what happened in the past that was so negative. We need to be, embracing, really, ancestors come on the earth plane every new moon day. What should I be doing on this new moon day? If we start practicing things like this, it will help to redirect our focus.
When you say new moon day, what was that? What?
The moon.
The moon. The full moon.
The
Okay
moon
then.
cycles.
The moon cycle. Okay then.
Because
so
they
the
are
ancestors
there for
come
a
out-
reason.
Okay then.
There is a teaching that shows that every new moon day, ancestors come to the earth plane. So I tend to do things for my ancestor on this day. You see, yeah. Acknowledging that they are here, raising up the altar, offering them financial energies, money, water, and make my prayer to my ancestors. And I'm telling you, it really, really works. We really need to start knowing how to work with the planets, the energies that rules the day. Because I've come to a level where I don't just see myself as a black woman, I see myself as a walking planet. That's what we are.
Hold on. Say that again.
A walking planet.
Certainly
that's
one of
powerful.
the stars.
No, because every part of your body is named after the planet.
Yeah.
Your fingers alone, planets. So I thought, why a minute, I'm a planet. I'm a walking temple. I want to be focusing on that, not on something that was negative that happened years ago, because it just holds you back and you can't move forward with these energies.
But just to jump in here in terms of look at mental health. Do you work with people who've got
Yeah.
use
yes.
words mental health got challenges in
Well,
that? Yeah.
Haringey Council, they're doing very, very well. They do have mental health awareness.
Yeah.
And Immortal Healing, my business was appointed to facilitate meditation. I do this for free. Every first Sunday of the month, I facilitate planetary and cosmic rays meditation. I work with the chakra system. Since October last year, I've been doing this. 2018, I've been doing this. And people are benefiting from this here.
Right, because it kind of link into this sister. Her name is Trees. I haven't spoken to her for a little while. But what's fascinating about Trees or what she does, she works with people who got certain kind of challenges,
Yes.
mental health challenges, right?
Yes.
Right. And what they do, they have this thing where they go on this, I think they call it silent walk,
Yes.
where you just walk into nature,
Yes.
right? And only talk your boys go do some observations, do nature, whatever, right? And the purpose behind that, right, is get them to connect with nature, just
That's
connect
right.
with themselves and just connect. And she said, it's amazing how people just start come back into line, balance themselves out, and because what's happening that most people they're out of balance, they're just out of nature, and just as a concrete jungle, and you got to be you got to hustle, you got to make money, and with that you're dealing with people, and all that stuff there. But with this, you start within yourself, and what you're saying really is that we have to balance really.
Well, the spirit said, go back to nature, for ye cannot separate spirituality from nature. When I go to meet the sun rising, I take off my shoes. Even there are times I really go drastic with it. I dig holes in my garden and I bury my feet and I sit there like that to get the energy of the earth. Mother Earth energy goes in and transmutes all those negative energy.
Yeah.
And when I come back out, I feel charged. So we have to start doing things like this. And then, and they will do what you need to do, put everything to balance. It's a personal journey. It takes courage. This is the hero's journey. All we have to do is just find ways to encourage each other. We don't just talk about it, we should practice it. It's about meditation, going within. This is the age of Aquarius. This is the age of light, the age of going within.
And
I think the timing is right because again, this year being 2020, I think it is that we need to really gain a focus, and in order for us to take full advantage of our that spiritual rites of passage, because a lot of us have lost our spirituality.
Yeah, because we're looking outside.
Yeah.
Because we're too busy getting angry.
Or
I'm
chasing-
I'm not dismissing what happened, but you see, if we keep telling the story of being defeated, you will always be defeated.
Yeah, but
We have
even in that situation, we've conquered, so we're conquerors. Yeah. So having conquered that, we need to set that aside and link back with our ancestral past, knowing where we come from.
Yeah.
And once we know where we come from and the powers that lies within, then we will then be able to dismiss all other things.
I do psychic readings, and I encourage people to embrace it, because you cannot have eyes and don't see. You cannot have eyes that don't see. That's a problem. That eye is there for a reason. You're meant to see with it. And it's our responsibility to take care of it and make sure we see with it. So basically, I encourage people to see visions. I encourage them to meditate in their own time. But you see, their universe never make a mistake. Universe will give back to you whatever you sow. You will reap.
Seek and you will find. Those.
No, we're talking about cause and effect here. Whatever we sow, we reap in thought, action, and speech. Because in truth, we are that powerful. We are gods.
Yeah, well, I'm one with you on that.
You understand? So, but you can be a god who doesn't know how to use his power. That's, there is a beautiful proverb. When I was growing up in Nigeria, one of my aunties, she used to say, oh, if a king does not know he's a king, his servant will sit on his throne.
So he's what? His servant?
If a king does not know he's a king, his servant will sit on his throne.
Yeah.
Now,
Which shall we say is the predicament that we find ourselves.
well, I think I think that parable is to do with the individual. Because within you, you have the king. Within you, you have the servant, which is your mind. And we just have to come and understand how to make it serve us. You understand? Instead of it, it's karma.
Well, I like that one there. I like what you said there. The king doesn't know that he's a king. The servant will sit on his throne. And that's what's happening right now.
That is our situation. The head is become the footstool. That's exactly.
But you have to remember, it's not king over anybody else, but king over your own kingdom.
You have to have
your own body temple, your own mind. Because it is through this body temple that you manifest your reality. Look, do you know what happened to me? I've woken up a lot. There was a time I used to always get angry. I used to blame the devil to begin with, I learned that in the church. If anything is wrong, it's the devil.
Blame the Satan.
I pray very well, because I learned in the church. I bind the devil for so many years, and then one day I said, wait a minute, I've been binding this devil for a long time. You haven't binding. I came to my senses. So I began to say, no, I don't think the devil is my problem. Maybe it's me who don't know how to pray. I started saying these things, and then over the years, Spirit began to reveal things to me. But anyway, I remember one day I woke up. I haven't quite, got up from my bed. I just woke up and I heard a voice singing. And the voice, I heard it sing audibly. It's a disembodied female voice. And it sang, these were the words. It said, life is what you make it.
Yeah.
And I remember responding, and you said I made myself broke. Because at that time, I was going through financial challenges. And I was thinking, it was because of this, it was because of that. So I've woken up. I really didn't want to get up, but I have to work hard again. And then this voice sings, life is what you make it. And the moment he sang that voice...
So it's like my friend Frightener. Yes. It's a big hit that time, though, weren't it? Life's
Yeah,
what you
man,
make.
life is what you, there's a big tune out there.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say, everything is a message. Spirit is
message.
speaking through everybody all the time, but you got to catch it. But he sang this because I know that song myself. But this voice sang this.
Oh, the voice. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And
yeah.
I heard it clearly. And the moment I heard that voice, every blame fell off my DNA. I found myself feeling like that voice, because I trust the voice I hear. Life is what I make it. And I responded, are you saying I made myself broke? Because that was my issue, you know. And immediately, I no longer blamed anyone. And I started to find solution. So I realized when I blame somebody, it's a way of tying yourself. But the moment you let it go, you begin to find solution. That's how it works. So if we keep saying, oh, we're like this because that happened, you're tying yourself up. Let it go. And let us start looking at the solutions.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're definitely in need of solutions when we look on all our problems presently. And obviously the scourge within our society right now amongst our youngsters. But on reflection on what you've said, if they're not spiritually connected, then they are up for a hard time.
They're not feeding their ancestors. You know, in the Bhagavad Gita, do you know the Bhagavad Gita? The Bhagavad Gita. You can just Google it and you can get the audio. But in the Bhagavad Gita, it actually says that the ancestor, it says something. It says that the family of how did it say? It said the ancestors of such corrupt family, that's why he said it, are pulled down because the duty of offering them water and food has entirely, stopped.
Vanished.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay.
I have to put that in place.
Yeah, it was like when sometimes we used to say prayers before we eat. Yeah, but we don't even say, oh, they do to one another, no.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's gone that far.
Because everything is a spirit. I'm speaking from my own experience. Everything is a spirit. The food that you eat is a spirit. We need to understand this planet
Connection.
that we're part of. Now, I'm going to share with you because I know that I'm speaking the truth and I will be backed up. I sometimes use salt when I'm doing my prayers for clients, yeah? So there was a time I was using salt to do some rituals. About 6 o'clock in the morning. And then I looked up. I see this great big female, let me just use the word angel, just to help us understand it. But like a diamond being. And I knew it was a female. She's looking at me. She's huge, bigger than my house. I can see through the walls and I can see this being here. But I didn't know what it was. Then my entourage, everybody have a spiritual entourage. So my spiritual entourage said, introduce me. I said, this is salt. I said, what? And I got salt in my hand, yeah? I said, this is salt. I said, what do you mean this is salt? It said, everything has a physical manifestation, has a spirit. So you and I know that our physical manifestation has a spirit. It's time to expand our consciousness to know that every plant, everything has a spirit. So this is the knowledge we need to know, is to know how to work with the spirit that is behind the thing.
Beyond the thing.
Even every day has a spirit. You have to know what blessing it has and how to work with it.
Okay. We're going to just play a track. This is really about you.
Sisters, queens, empresses rise. Sisters, queens, wipe the tears from your eyes. Sisters, queens. queens, you're so loving and wise. Sisters, queens, rise up.
Forget my roots, my African roots, my Ethiopian roots. My roots keep me strong. My roots keep me holding on. My roots prevent me from getting thin, and my roots is where my life begins. My roots is my identity. My roots is what's keeping me. My roots are never dry. My roots is what's keeping my roots. My roots, my roots, my roots, my roots. I can't forget my roots, my African roots, my Ethiopian roots. My roots keep me strong. My roots keep me holding on. My roots prevent me from getting thin, and my roots is where my life begins. My roots is my identity. My roots is what's keeping me. My roots are never dry. My root is my reason why. My roots can never be washed away. My roots is always here to stay. And my roots is not meant to be comb. And my roots tell me I found my home. My roots is where I belong. My roots identify what's wrong. My roots is my only weapon. My roots keep me holding on. My roots keep me growing without me even knowing. My roots is what's in my heart. My roots ain't no poison dart. My roots let me say what I mean, and my roots let me mean what I say. My roots keep me growing strong, and I admire what it's showing. My roots give me strength, so I'm no longer bent. My roots give me strength, so I'm no longer bent. My roots give me strength, so I'm no longer bent.
Sisters, queens, wipe the tears from your eyes. Sisters, queens, rise up, for you are a woman. Sisters, queens, empresses rise. Sisters, queens, you're so loving and wise. Sisters, queens, rise up, for you are a woman. Woman, we need you. Your soul's guidance, your intuition. Woman, we need you. Your understanding and your wisdom. Woman, we need you. Your peace and your harmony. Woman, we need you. We need you. Woman, we need you. Your love and your nurturing. Woman, we need you. Your compassion and understanding. Woman, we need you. Restoration and your healing. Woman, we need you. We need you. Sisters, queens, empresses rise. Sisters, queens, wipe the tears from your eyes. Sisters, queens, rise up, for you are a woman. Sisters, queens, empresses rise. Sisters, queens, you're so loving and wise. Sisters, queens, rise up, for you are a woman.
That I firmly believe is overlooked is teaching young people about beliefs and value systems. It's teaching them to understand their belief systems and also to understand the values that they hold in their lives. And this is one of the solutions, in my opinion, to why a lot of young people are doing things like committing crime, violent acts on the street, and some of them even murder, because they have no value, no understanding of values in society. And so, but if we take it back, and this is where the parents will come in, the value system is something that you need to understand as a parent, because a lot of parents out there believe that they are failing their children. And they, when young people get to 12, 13 years old and they start changing, parents believe that they've failed that child. But you have to have a firm understanding of what the value system is. How do values work in your house? So you've got to understand that between the ages of 0 and 7, the child or your child gets its values from you at home. That's called the sponge stage. That's where everything you tell them about the world is correct. Everything you tell them about, be cautious out there because this might happen, cross the road this way, that might happen, don't smoke. Between the ages of 0 and 7, your child will naturally believe you because they naturally believe in the values of the house. Now, the problem with some young children, if you look at year 4 in primary school, is that around that age, which is just another important area that I firmly believe is overlooked, is teaching young people about beliefs and value systems. Is teaching them to understand their belief systems and also to understand the values that they hold in their lives. And this is one of the solutions, in my opinion, to why a lot of young people are doing things like committing crime, violent acts on the street, and some of them even murder, because they have no value, no understanding of values in society. And so, but if we take it back, and this is where the parents will come in, the value system is something that you need to understand as a parent, because a lot of parents out there believe that they are failing their children. And they, when young people get to 12, 13 years old and they start changing, parents believe that they've failed that child. But you have to have a firm understanding of what the value system is. How do values work in your house? So you've got to understand that between the ages of 0 and 7, the child or your child gets its values from you at home. That's called the sponge stage. That's where everything you tell them about the world is correct. Everything you tell them about, be cautious out there because this might happen, cross the road this way, that might happen, don't smoke. Between the ages of 0 and 7, your child will naturally believe you because they naturally believe in the values of the house. Now, the problem with some young children, if you look at year 4 in primary school, is that around that age, which is just 8 years old onwards, between 8 and 13, your child starts using the values of a friend. So your child might start looking at, why do I have to go to bed at 7 and my friend goes to bed at 9? So I am going to choose that value system, and that could create
Yes, inside our house we have a beautiful queen, princess. Also we have brother Clive inside the house as well. And I'm really enjoying this interview here. It really is, it's like music to the soul, so just some serious reasoning, and we touch on the other thing about ancestors, talking about DNA cleansing. And one thing I want to touch over a lot about Reiki, because I know there's a lot of work around. There's a Reiki practitioner, master, something like that. So myself don't know much about Reiki, but I need to know about Reiki, so I'm going to ask that a little bit later on in a few minutes, but I want to touch on the clip what was played talking about values, and I like what the brother Paul was talking about, when he says that at the age between 0 and 7 you tend to take the values of your parents, and then after that, about 10, 11, you start questioning your parents' values, and you start taking what your friends are saying. For example, we made a point where You know, you're told to go to bed, say 8 o'clock, and you find your friends get to bed at 10 o'clock, and you start questioning the values. And values is very important, you know. And, well, we're not talking about any kind of values, but it's a foundation, you know. In terms of looking what is right and what is wrong, you know. In terms of looking at your culture, identity, you know. So I like what the brethren was saying there. But anyway, I want to bring in Princess into the mix, and obviously Clive, and we're going to talk about values and also talk about things about effective parenting, seeing, because I know that Princess has, I think she got 3 boys. Please correct me if
Yeah, I have.
your 3 boys, yeah. And in fact, good thing we mentioned, because I think all 3 of them are doing extremely well. Right, extremely well. Even though we have another session to talk about what one of them is doing. Anyway, he's well known all over the world, you know. But it's quite interesting having this conversation, because the reason why, because a lot of work you've done yourself, why they're able to excel to a certain level, you know. But I just played a clip earlier on. I wanted to have you to respond to that clip there I played earlier on, you know. Yeah, I just want to bring to mix Princess and also Clive. Yeah.
I mean, I do agree with what he's saying. I mean, I do also have my regrets, because there are things that I know now. I tend to say, oh, if I knew them at that time, I would have raised the children differently.
Yeah.
But I always believe that every parent feels that way. You can only give to your children what you know, and your children have to take it to the next level. I'm expecting my children to do far, far better than me.
That's right.
You know, I really am, because I know that I didn't really teach them about the God within. I taught them the God in the sky, because at that time
That's what you was taught.
that's what I was believing in. So in a way, I was sincere, because I was giving them what I sincerely thought was the right thing. So a lot of parents out there, that's what they do. Like, some parents sincerely believe eating meat, you know, is a good diet, because that's what they grew up on.
Yes, right.
But we're growing up and
Words,
realizing,
yeah.
you know, we don't want to do that no more. Some are turning vegan. So it's like this. I feel like we just have to bless the parents for what, you know, the values that they passed on according to how they knew it, and appreciate it, instead of tearing us down, because it's not encouraging. Yes, life is always progressing, isn't it?
That's right.
So, you know, the way we used to, even with gadgets, you know, if I brought old-fashioned TV into this room now, you wouldn't want to look at it, because we're looking at the latest model. So it's like this. If I was going to teach my children anything, I would teach them to look at the God within.
God within. Absolutely right. Clive, you want to come in on the reasoning?
Yeah, on the God within, obviously, where I'm at is that I'm having to relearn or educate to a certain extent to be able to better understand my own upbringing. And for that reason, I'm presently engaging in a training program, which the most interesting part I've taken, which kind of hooked me, was the spiritual rite of passage, and that followed on from my return from Jamaica. So the significance of it, and like yourself, I'm still in the church, but I am wrestling with my belief, not my spirituality, because you and I, we're spiritually led. That's what led us in the church, and we wanted to know more, but what they taught us did not necessarily connect with the way what we were feeling and what we were also seeing, for the reason that we are one with nature, and our ancestors are always on us, guiding us. So for that reason, I understand, insofar as our own personal developments, there are different stages where we can impact. So though you, with the examples of your own children, that you didn't teach them in such way, your action actions taught them certain principles which had been instilled, but they were just listening out for these things to be reinforced. Yeah. So I think we are in a better place now. I myself feel in a better place, having listened in just a short period of time, and I'm further encouraged that we need to connect with our youngsters out there in order to understand their problems and for us to explain as to why they are experiencing because of their disconnection, as well as us being disconnected in not being able to impact what we're now experiencing. Yeah. So I'm very, very much encouraged, my sister, to take on board what you've said, and obviously I'm going to be listening and to see as to what I can take from it to better my mindset and look within. Yeah, because that support lies within us, and we just have to reach for it but with love as a guidance
the secret
principle.
is, like, you see, the revelation is a personal revelation. I can't teach a next person do this. Yeah, but I can definitely say if all you're practicing all these years is not working, maybe you can try something else. And the secret is as simple as learning to silence your mind and looking within. Very, very simple exercises, because it's time to listen to the voice within. That voice speaks. Too much clutter in the mind shuts that voice down. The voice is speaking, but you can't hear it. But the moment we start practicing just silent breath, doing some breath work, because breath is God. You know, as you breathe in, you focus on the breath. It's a mantra. The breathing in is a mantra in itself, and out. And learning to silence your mind, you will, in your own way, hear a voice within. So the secret is to train the youngster to look within, because we're looking out too much for solution. That's why we're not getting it. I started getting solutions when I started looking within. I've become my own best friend. I'm telling you, I've learned to absolutely value my body. You know, because we're trained to disregard the body. But I've come to realize, no, without this body here, God can't have a physical experience. So I am God having a physical experience. So I actually worship my body now. People come to my home, and I have many altars that I work with. I work with planetary altars because I know that's part of me. Yeah, I've even got an altar to my physical body. When a lady came, she goes, "You got an altar to yourself?" I said, "That's right. I worship my body because God dwells in me." It's going to take a while for some minds to understand, because we're programmed to think the worst things about yourself.
Yeah, well, I understand, because
but that comes with knowledge, you see, and revelations. That's why I did that. I would never have done that years ago, you know, set up an altar with my own image and bow down to myself. I do. It's beautiful. It's appreciating me. When I start learning to love and appreciate me, the doors will open for me.
Open for you. Okay, then. I want to touch on a little bit. Sorry, Clive, you got any more things you wanted to add? Sorry,
not really, because obviously I'm encouraged, because I go back to Jamaica, I go back to the river, and I'll spend a long time, you know, but I then consider that all my problems are being washed away and all those kind of things. Again, over here in my garden, I've got water. You know, so I will go out and I'll sit down. If I've got any consideration, I'll spend the time out there, and I'll regenerate my mind and consciousness, because it's a tough road out there, you know, within our community, seeing all of these things. And then worse, if you're on the plantation where you're having to be working for somebody, as to how they impose themselves, and they just try to put you in a straitjacket, basically. So you're not liberated, and you know, not only do they want you physically there, they want to take your mind in the workplace as well. You know, so it's very important for us to look within.
This is the age of going within. You know, look, we have to understand in the Bibles here. I mean, I love the Bible. I love all the scriptures. I study from the Zohar. I read everything, Emerald Tablet. Anything my ancestor tells me to study, I will study it to understand it, to remove the fear. Do you understand? But I know that in the Bible, it does actually predict the age of Aquarius. You know about the age of Aquarius, isn't it? But he did it in a coded way, you know. He actually said, Christ was saying to them, when you enter into the city, you will see a man carrying a pitcher of water. Follow him into the house. Now the house is your body. Go to the upper room. That's your higher mind. You will see a room on the right-hand side furnished. Everything is about the human body. If you're going to find solution to your problem, it's inside. That's why I practice going within. I love going within. I close my eyes. You know, the moment I wake up in the mornings, I know Ancestor wants me to go within. And I silent my mind, and I'm getting so much revelations. And I realize that same power is in everyone. Just that we have to learn to trust it.
Right. Okay, so let people know what you'll be doing in terms of the events and etc. and when it's gonna take place and what they expect and everything. And
well, I just want to say thank you so much to Haringey Council for recognizing the work that I do and appreciating it. We will be facilitating DNA and ancestor healing every third Sunday of every month, starting from March. It's very important to take advantage of this, because usually we charge £40. It's a 2-hour session, and clients, they still come to us on a private. But my ancestors told me to do it at a half price. We're charging £25 in order to encourage more people to come and benefit from this healing, because you are carrying things in your DNA that needs to be cleared, and at the moment what is driving your life in strong emotions is anger, fear, and unfinished business. And a lot of the time this unfinished business is coming from ancestry. You're just carrying the vibration and it's affecting your life. Now, if you've experienced traumatic relationships, financial restriction, depression, imbalanced life, is definitely a DNA issue. It can be healed. They're all vibrations, and it can be healed. Every problem has a solution.
Okay then. We're probably going to open the live link in a couple of minutes, in a few minutes. So the live link number is 079 444 31366. Clive, you know behind there's a live link number. I wonder if you can read that number behind.
Which one?
It should be there, Clive. That one there.
Okay. Yeah, our live link number is 079 444 31366.
So anybody wants to phone in and make a comment, feel free to do that. I know we're expecting a call from Sister Grace and Sister Gail, and somebody rang me a minute ago. I think that was Ras McCoy.
Yeah, all right. We'll just run this number by you again. 079 444 31366.
Okay. Right. So again, as I said, we do have a beautiful princess inside the house, and I said it's a joy to have her among us, you know, and she's part of the I won't say the royal family, because she's not part of those royal family, but she's part of a royal family still, you know, and she's gonna break that down.
1 minute or so to build my community. So let me just adjust my crown. Yeah. 1 minute or so to build my community. So let me just adjust my crown. When I'm talking about my crown, I'm not talking about the crown on my head. I'm talking about my community. That's our crown. So I'm saying Tottenham, Hackney, Wood Green, Stonebridge, Brixton. Let's link up. Let's build up this community. Let's come together as one. Yeah, we can do this. We've been talking about this for ages. Let's do it. Yeah? Let's change our mindset. Let's build our community in a way. Let's build banks. Let's build universities. Let's build schools. Let's build estates. Around when you look at what you can see is new builds. We ain't got no part in that. But we're saying that we own the ends. We don't own no ends. Let's build up our community. Let's take back what's ours. Let's capture the land. Let's walk on this capture land and capture this land. Because it's our land. We can do it. Anywhere that our foot trod, that's where we're going to possess. We're going to capture, we're going to take over, and we can do this. If we come together, it's a mad thing. Trust me. I believe in you. We can do this. We've come too far for this, King.
Why does it take a young man, with all the resources that the government's talking about pouring into everything, how is it takes a young man to take it on his own back to go out and actually take knives and guns off the streets? I don't get it. The government say they're supposed to be funding this, they're looking for solutions. But one of the solutions to me is to actually go out there and take them off the streets. And for me, I don't see why a young man should have to take on that responsibility with all of these different organisations. So what is it that drives you to do that?
It's the right thing to do, innit? It's life, innit? And obviously it's like, it's not even the fast amnesty thing, innit? It's the thing, innit? Because it's the thing that's actively taking knives off the roadside, innit? And but I know, and like the system knows, and not a lot of other people know, that it costs the system, innit? Like just talking, like just going beyond like death and people being heartbroken for the rest of their life, and or for losing a child or a family member, that it costs the system so much, like to even process a murder, innit? Like 1.7 million just to process a murder, each murder. And I know for a fact, that anytime a police officer gets a knife or something, it's not like it's either been found or they've had to physically arrest them or have some crazy intelligence to ascertain, or search warrants and manpower, like to get the stuff that I'm taking off in the street, innit? And I've got a sense of trust and communication with the children where they willingly bring it to me, innit? So how can that be ignored?
See, that's why I find
crazy right now.
That's what I find. You see, you said it exactly there. You got to trust. They trust you, and they don't trust anybody else. And so that's what's actually amazing, that they trust you. So this is something that works. You see, when the government are talking about solution, this actually works. Is that you're going out there and you're effectively saving lives every single day. And I know you get flack for it. I know that people say to you, know what I mean, why are you going out there doing this? But you've got your own reasons for doing it, and because you're passionate about life. And that's really clear to me, you know what I mean?
It's like, how can I say, man, like, if the whole world can't realise that the children are our future, then like where do we stand as a race? Do you get me? Because where do you think our future athletes and our future doctors and our future nurses and politicians are coming from? Do you understand? But obviously it's a thing like, I don't know, when you're in a certain part of society, then I don't know, maybe the priority of care to them just ain't as great as it would be to other people. But do you know what? This is where I come from, so that's my priority, and that's my pride and my care. And it's just like, it's not even hard for me to do, man. Like, it's a natural thing. Do you get me, bro? Like, as I said, like when I got stabbed, I've been stabbed 9 times on 2 different occasions.
Wow.
And
so what you're doing really, like, is to you.
It happened when I was defending people I loved. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And guess what? Like, if I have to put myself in front of that again,
you do it again.
Because that's my like that's what I'm here for. Like, I'm a protector to the people I love, innit? And the way I see it, I'm a big brother and I'm a father to a lot of these young kids in the community. And I just wish that when I was their age, if I had a better bit of guidance, then maybe, you know, like I wouldn't have faced so much turmoil in growing up. Do you get me? But obviously, like, man just found a way to make negative into a positive driving force. Do you feel me?
I swear down there ain't nothing that's going to stop me from grinding in these roads to stop what's going on, and if it means I have to risk myself and my freedom out here on the roadside, then so be it, innit? Because in my heart, I know I'm doing the right thing. So blessed to you, man, and I'm going to keep grinding. Every single message I get, I'm going to respond to it. Every younger that needs help or they got something they don't want, I'm going to respond to it. So if it makes me a bad person doing that, then so be it.
Yes, my name is the Right Honorable Anthony Bryan. Yes, I am a Tottenham dweller, seeing, and I dwell in Tottenham. For my days were in Tottenham, and many of my years were spent in Tottenham. Yeah, I know the roads, I've felt the hurts, I've done the wrongs, but now I'm doing good. Just like Moses, he was a Pharaoh's son before he was called by the Almighty One. So this is the time where we should be called and want to be called by righteousness. Because we see Tottenham has been invaded. Yet, it doesn't hurt if love is the binding strength. For to be civil is to get along, and to be nice is to be nice. But Tottenham has changed. One would say for the bad. But if one looks deep within, it would be for the better. For we see war and strife, we see poverty and hurt, we see damnation and drugs rife throughout out of Tottenham, but still the little buds, they grow. The schools ring with the choirs of joy. Teach them in the way in which they should go. You know, guide them up. Let them know that they are peculiar. Let them know that there is better than just the capitalism, the food, the rent, the tax, the pain. You know, let them know that the Father has sent angels, you know, to receive them. So when they see a light, go to the light and eat from the cup of that light. For in that light there is life. Good words bring life, and bad words bring death. Come, let's lift up Tottenham, because the Almighty God is with us. Holy King Emmanuel, King Selassie, Jah, Rastafari.
But why some people so bad mind, them hearted cold. Hypocrites and parasite out of control. I judge me for the liquor when me have. The smile on me face and make the whole of them mad. But looking at me eyes, me is a woman, not a youth. Vex with me because me speak the truth. Say coke pipe, me no sample, no gun, me no shoot stronger. Cause me don't know me roots. So don't worry about a thing. Time to make a change. Your life to arrange. Hold your heart and say it's time for a new beginning. So don't worry about a thing. Time to make a stand. Your life's in your hands. Hold your heart and say it's time for your overstanding. So don't worry about a thing. Time to make a change. Your life to arrange. Hold your heart and say it's time for a new beginning. So don't worry about a thing. Time to make a stand. Your life's in your hands. Hold your heart and say it's time for your overstanding. So don't worry about a thing. Time to make a change. Your life to arrange. Hold your heart and say it's time for a new beginning. So don't worry about a thing.
Okay then. And as I said, we have beautiful Prince inside the house, Princess inside the house, sharing some very powerful information. I'm gonna ask her to explain your thing about the chakra, and not the chakra, sorry. Was it Reiki? Yeah, the chakras, and also talk about, was it Reiki?
Well, we do provide Reiki healing.
Yeah, but that's it. I want to explain what is Reiki. What is Reiki?
It's an energy healing. It's a life force energy.
Mm-hmm.
It permeates everything in nature, you know. And we discovered that when the energy flow in our body system is blocked, we can have a physical problem.
So Reiki now, How do you practice Reiki on an individual? How does it?
Well, the people do come and they lay on the couch fully
and you
clothed.
put their hands.
I don't necessarily need to touch them.
Okay.
But I do listen to the spirit guide to tell me where to work on. And many clients have had very positive results. They've even had a pain in their body healed miraculously. Because a lot of our problem is energetic blockages. That is only energy that can clear energy blockages.
All right, just want to be clear. So Reiki is really about
it's a hands-on healing.
Hands-on healing. Okay.
But
then.
not necessarily. You don't have to touch, but it's a hands-on.
Yeah, hands-on healing. Okay, you've heard about Reiki before, Clive?
It's my first.
Sorry. Okay.
My first time.
No, because I've always heard people talk about Reiki many years ago, right? But I didn't know what it was. Yeah,
it's very powerful healing modality. It's ancient, you know. It just helps you to connect to the flow of the chi, life force energy, because a lot of our problem is like going against the life force energy.
Right. And I want to touch on the other thing about chakra, because probably a lot of work you do is around the chakra, if I'm not mistaken, yeah?
Everything is on the chakra,
Everything's
because
around the chakra.
because the chakra controls everything. You know, like for instance, your root chakra, there are 7 of them.
Yeah.
They're like your inner rainbow. You know, the 7 colors of the rainbow in the sky. So you also have a rainbow in your body. So the chakras are your rainbow. So the root chakra now, which is red, you know, that connects you to earth. That controls your finances. And so when it is blocked or out of balance, you can have a lot of problems. Some people cannot connect with their mothers because of a blocked root chakra.
So that's
your
interesting.
very chakras controls your life. So it makes sense to kind of clean it up, you know, like you do, you know, when you take your car for MOT, your body, you know, in fact, there's an aspect of your body called car, K-A, car. So everything that we see out there is actually a model of the human body. So the human body is the original car. You know, you just have to understand these things, the macabre. So we work on the energy, the roots of your being, which is the chakras.
Yes. How do you know that the root chakra connected to the relationship you have with your mother and so forth?
It can affect your finances when it's blocked.
Because it's a blocked energy.
Just like every chakra, like your sacral chakra, which is just about 2 inches beneath your navel. The color is orange. That is your creativity. It's also sexual energy, giving and receiving. So again, when that is blocked, I mean, because I can see chakras, you know, so I usually can see them all the time in my healing. So when that's blocked again, you can have blockages in your creative ability, so many problems there. A lot of guilt and shame energy is held there. So if it's not cleared, it will affect you.
Because you know, when someone feels a bit guilt, shame, they're holding to this part there, this part there. You know, because something blocking there.
It's blocking there, and you know, your solar plexus, which is like 2 inches above your navel, which is connected to the sun. This is where the sun in you, you know, this is where I believe when the scriptures say the Son of God and the Son of Man, it didn't mean S-O-N, Jesus is the Son of Man, but it's actually saying the Son of God and the Son in man. If we understand it as a Son in man, you will know that there's a sun inside your body. So there's a fire in your body. So when that is blocked, you can lose self-esteem. A lot of people have anger there. And that can destroy a lot of things. And then you have the heart chakra again. When that can really wreak havoc on your emotion when it is so broken. All these things can be healed just in a seated meditation. Where I bring in the galactic healers.
And then obviously you got the crown.
Then you have your third eye, you know, which is there's a lot of blockages there. Fear of seeing the truth can be blocked there. That's why I'm very careful what I watch, because anything you look at, it records. You know, so I'm not listening to any negative news. I just see good news here, because that's what I see. I choose to only see good things.
Good things.
Don't just focus on the days. Look, you can choose what you want to eat. The Spirit said to me once, He said to me, you have heard that you are what you eat. I said, yeah. He said, you are also what you see and you are what you hear. I said, oh, really? I told you I haven't watched TV in 10 years. I threw it away. You know, if I can get my money back. Because it was one of those big, you know, I paid $2,000 for it when it first came out, those big cinema when it first came out, you know. So I like these flamboyant things. But if I knew what I knew then, I wouldn't even bother with it. But it's okay, you know.
Then you could have it on one channel or just choose to.
No, I just throw it away and watch my ITV. You know, 'cause I get a lot more positive information from myself. I want to know who I am. Because these things are getting in my way. It's telling me about other people's story, and I'm not understanding my story. So
and it also takes up memory.
that's what I'm saying, the herds and all that, the frequency. But then your crown chakra is connected to the cosmos. It's where you get information from your higher self, you know, your spiritual entourage. So these things, when they are blocked, you are not whole. So it's all about connecting back to your body and how it works
How it works, yeah.
with the universe. That's the answer to our problem. Because as far as I'm concerned, you don't know thyself until you know this. When you say, when a man know thyself, remember the scripture say, man know thyself, then you shall know the gods and the universe. Right. If you're saying, you know, who am I? If you're not telling me this, then you don't know who you are. You don't know your name. It's a character you're playing. The earth is a stage, isn't it?
Right,
and we are the actors.
Okay. Can you give out your website and your
Yeah.
email address, please?
Yeah, we are Immortal Healing. If you want to visit our website at immortalhealing.org. Our phone number is 07869111299. I will be facilitating DNA and ancestor healing meditation at the Wood Green Library every first Sunday of the month. Every third Sunday of the month, starting from March. Complement of Haringey Council, but you would have to phone to make a booking in advance, because you can't just come into that session. That's 07869111291. Thank you.
Okay then, fantastic.
And outside of the library, is that the only place you practice? Or
No, it depends on what you want, because I do the psychic readings as well, because I like to diagnose the problem spiritually before I may recommend spiritual baths or whatever you need to be done. You can just phone and just see what you want. I also run that session privately as well, but I'm just following the guidance of my ancestors, telling me that the people need this. That's why we're making it half price. In fact, £25 instead of £40 for the 2 hours.
Well, you've said it, or you've answered it, because you said there's private.
Yeah.
There's a lot of us that are not into the.
Yeah, that's fine, absolutely. You know, and in these sessions, people are developing confidence. You know, people are receiving what they need to receive, because everybody's individual. You see, some people, you know, they're having courage, and there's more levels to what we do, but we're just going step by step according to the individual need. But I feel if you really want solution to your problem, it's time to address what you're carrying in your DNA vibrationally.
Okay then. Okay. Clive, got any more question?
No.
No. Okay then.
I'm good.
All right. Clive, why don't you just call Leon for me if he's just out there, yeah? Leon. Right. What I'm doing is point here. I just want to say that this is your life, my sister. The track goes back to this, and it really is a pleasure to have you.
Understanding, restoration, and your healing.
So we have Princess inside the home. Really was brilliant.
Empresses rise, sisters, queens, wipe the tears from your eyes. Sisters, queens, rise up, for you are a woman. Princesses rise, sisters, queens, you're so loving and wise. Sisters, queens, rise up, for you are